Welcome to the Freedom Camp Podcast, rooted in truth, growing in freedom, and built on the belief that you weren't meant to grow alone. Each week, I'll share honest stories, insights, and simple questions to help you explore the unseen things that keep you from living in the freedom that's already yours, and take brave, intentional steps toward the life you were made for. This is your space to reconnect with your authentic self and grow in freedom on purpose. Have you ever heard the quote, "The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results"? What if you've been applying that mostly to your actions, but not to your thoughts? Have you ever noticed that when you keep thinking the same thought, your life keeps feeling the same way too? What if the issue isn't your results? What if it's the thought that you keep agreeing with? Your thoughts are shaping your life more than you realize. Some common thought loops sound like, I need things to be different. I need to be different. I'm not doing enough. I should be further along. I don't know what to do. Or maybe every time I start making progress, something bad happens. Nothing ever works for me. Or my old standby, well, story of my life. And the tricky part is, these thoughts may feel true. They may look true. But what if they're not actually true? What if they're just familiar? Because familiar thoughts become practiced thoughts. And practiced thoughts start sounding like truth. So here's how the cycle works. Our thoughts influence our feelings influence our actions influence our results. And then those results often reinforce the original thought. And it goes and goes and goes. So for an example, say you're thinking, I'm behind. You're feeling anxious, overwhelmed, maybe even defeated. And then the action coming from those feelings may be overworking or avoiding, procrastinating, or spinning your wheels. And then the result from those actions is often you're behind. And then you say, look, I'm behind. The thought happens again, and the feelings happen again. And it keeps going. So you don't actually have a results problem. You have a thought agreement problem. And often the thought keeps repeating because we keep agreeing with something familiar, not necessarily something true. Now, this is not just think positive or manifest harder, pretend hard things aren't hard, or even trying to control outcomes. This is about alignment. It's about truth. It's about agreement with God. So let's take the exact same situation, but now let's look at it from your spirit-led self, the version of you that is connected to God, that is loved, provided for, safe, grounded, wise, and not ruled by fear. Now let's go through, what are you thinking? Maybe it's, oh, actually, I'm not behind. I'm right on time. Maybe it's, there is enough time, or God's going to help me, or I don't have to carry this alone. And then those thoughts are going to influence you to feel calmer or more centered, more grounded, more creative, more hopeful, more peaceful. And then those feelings are going to influence your actions. Well, now you're going to act from worth, abundance, confidence, and wisdom. And those actions are going to create completely different results. Not because reality magically changed, because we're not forcing reality to bend to us. We are aligning with what's true and living from there. So here's a simple practice for this week. Ask yourself, what thought is on repeat in my life right now? And then ask, is this actually true, biblically speaking? Or is it just familiar? And then ask, who told me that? So remember in Genesis, when God asked Adam and Eve, who told you that? Because something can look true in the natural, in what we can see and hear and touch and taste and feel, and still not be spiritually true. And the good news is, you don't have to believe every thought that you've practiced. So, we don't have to fix everything at once. What we really want to do is to begin by noticing, catch the thought, question the agreement, and invite God into it. Awareness is where freedom starts. I'll include a worksheet in the show notes that can help guide you through this process and help you see the difference between what you think and feel and do and the results that follow. Because when we write things down and we see them side by side, we start to see the gap. And then as our actions change, we see the gap narrow. And this is how roots grow deep. Slowly, quietly. This is the work that we do in Freedom Camp. And if you'd like to learn more, I'll also put a link to join our weekly Freedom Camp newsletter. There is no spam. It's just a practical tool, behind the scenes encouragement, and often a what's coming next. And if this episode encouraged you or made you think of someone who needs it, please share it, review it, or subscribe. It genuinely helps more people find freedom too. Thanks so much for listening to the Freedom Camp podcast. Thanks for listening to the Freedom Camp podcast, where we believe freedom is nurtured from within and grows when you tend to it. If this stirred something in you, let it take root this week and see what grows. And if you enjoyed this or found it meaningful, please give the gift of a review, share it with a friend, and leave a comment below. It helps us build this podcast community because we weren't meant to grow alone.